Hello, you are listening to Mini Meow-Ments, an Animal Humane New Mexico podcast. June is National Adopt a Shelter Cat Month, and throughout the month of June, we have been speaking with the experts on all things feline. I'm Brandon Carter, Animal Humane's multimedia specialist. This week's episode, you're always ready to grow your family. I spoke once again with our cat programs manager, Adrienne, to get her insights on what to expect if you're a first-time cat adopter.
When you arrive at the shelter, when you're looking at cats, obviously, the standard, just kind of check in with the staff, see if there's a wait time. When you're walking through and you see a cat that you're interested in, you can get with one of our adoption advisors, and they will have you fill out a quick survey and pull you aside with a cat. They'll tell you about their history, about any medical background, and get you set up with them to meet. And if you love them, you can take them. They have to go home in a carrier, obviously, but other than that, they're pretty much ready to go.
How do you know if a cat is right for you? When you come to the shelter, you meet with one cat or several. How can you tell?
Yeah, so usually when I'm talking to somebody, I really want to get to know, what do you want with a cat? Because it's different for everybody. Sometimes people want a really playful cat. Sometimes they want a cat that just wants to chill on the couch. So kind of understanding what you want in a cat and asking the staff if they have recommendations. Normally we have a pretty good idea of who's who and what they enjoy. We can sometimes even tell you if the cat has lived with dogs or kids or cats, and give you an idea if they're right for your household. So really understanding what you're looking for can help us kind of tailor any suggestions for you. Because if you're a couch potato, you don't want the cat that needs harness walks and loves to play and needs structure every day. You probably want the kind of fat couch potato cat that just wants to curl up in a sunbeam.
Oh, absolutely. So if you're coming to the shelter and you note that a cat has been here for a long time, what accounts for a longer stay at an animal shelter? And is that a good thing, a bad thing, or does it just depend?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it can just depend. Sometimes cats really surprise me and they fly out of here. And sometimes we have cats that get overlooked. And most often it is going to be our shy cats. So understanding that you can have a really great cat that just isn't going to have that love connection with you here right away. And seeing how they interact with the staff or seeing the staff's experience with them. We have a lovely cat right now named Izzy who just loves to curl under her little blanket. And it's so adorable. But she gets overlooked just because she's always hiding. But if you sit with her for 5 minutes, she comes out and she just wants to be with you and she wants to be cuddled. So that does account for their length of stay is when they just don't interact with people in the way that we always expect. A lot of people want that love connection. You want to think that the animal chose you. But that's not always going to be the case with cats or with dogs in the shelter environment. And really getting to know that, asking the staff how they're acting and what their favorite cat is. Sometimes you can get a really good idea of who might be right for you, even if they're not going to act that way right here at the shelter.
So at the shelter, we have a lot of different types of places that cats stay.
Yeah.
So we have the cat condos, the cat houses, the kitten rooms,
Mm-hmm.
the bonding rooms. What do those types of environments tell you about the cat that you're about to interact with?
So one of the misconceptions is that our condo cats are not friendly with other cats. That's not always the case. Sometimes we just don't have room in the room. Sometimes, they're just new and they've recently been spayed and our vet wants them to have a little bit of time in the condo. Sometimes condo cats are single cats. They just don't like others. Sometimes our fearful cats like the communal rooms because they have space and freedom to get away. But usually our communal cats are going to be friendly with other cats. So if you're looking for a buddy, that's always the place I recommend starting with because you know that they have that baseline of starting out friendly with other cats. Obviously, kittens are separate just because of their age. And then our condo cats, sometimes they do really well in that environment and they just really kind of like having space to themselves.
So how do we match people when they come in to adopt? How do we match them with a pet?
So a lot of our adoptions are very open-ended and conversation-based. So I will look at your survey and see, do you have cats, dogs, kids in the home, and kind of be able to tailor an answer or suggestions on acclimation in the home around those questions. But I will be talking about what you're looking for personality-wise, your cat experience, that sort of thing. So we do have a conversation with you, just kind of see where you're at. Some people just want a kitten, and I always let them know that kittens kind of are a little malleable, but they do have their kind of personality set in. So a really playful kitten is probably going to be a really playful adult. A lap kitten will probably, that's really cuddly, will still be that way as an adult. So we can still tailor suggestions even with kittens. But we do more know our adult cats. They're a little bit easier. Their behavior is really solid. What you see is kind of what you get. So a lot of my recommendations will more be on our adult side. With kittens, it's kind of like pick and choose. We can kind of tailor suggestions for that. But on the adults is really where we can kind of match personalities with what you're looking for.
What's the most common question you get from first-time adopters?
From first-time adopters, honestly, the most common question I get is this pet litter trained? And honestly, most cats are litter trained, especially even as kittens. They just naturally know how to go to the litter box. So it's not something I really worry about even when I'm thinking about talking about cats or, their previous behavior, because I just don't even think about it because it's very, very natural for them. If a cat does have litter box issues in the home, we'll counsel on that. But usually it's environmentally based or medically based. And we do typically solve that by either getting them out of their previous environment or out of this environment into a new home and setting them up for success by setting up the most appropriate number of litter boxes, which is 1 litter box per cat plus 1. But yeah, that is a often question I get, which is always surprising to me.
For somebody considering adopting a cat for the first time, they've never been a cat owner, they've never had a cat in their house, they don't know how cats work.
Yeah.
What do you suggest for them when coming into a shelter looking
Oh,
for a cat?
I suggest talking to the staff, asking them what their favorite cat is, or if they have any favorites, or if they have any suggestions. Sometimes we have a really good idea of just an easy cat. A lot of us at the shelter, we kind of are known for knowing our problem children, but we do come across those just super easy, super chill cats, very adjustable. So talk to the staff, get an idea of what their favorites are. Usually my favorites are the problem children, obviously, but I would usually have an idea of oh my God, this cat is just a lap cat. He just wants to be with you. He's super chill. Usually we can kind of guide you towards a good mix if you're just a little worried about it and just don't know where to start.
What made you fall in love with cats yourself?
Actually, working here, I was not a cat person before coming to work at the shelter. I always considered myself a dog person. I didn't dislike cats, but I wasn't very familiar with them. But working at the shelter, I got to meet so many different types of personalities of cats, and they're just like dogs. They're just a super spectrum of behavior. Some are really social, some are a little shy. We have this huge wide variety of behavior or personalities, and I just didn't see that before I got to experience all of these personalities. And slowly, I just kind of gravitated towards the cats, and I really liked them. So I wasn't a crazy cat person before coming here, but now I am, and it's just because I got to meet so many cool cats.
That's been my experience here too.
Yeah?
I didn't grow up a cat person. We didn't have cats in our house. My sister had a cat that I really love. I love Bernie. But coming to work here, I come to the cat house to decompress. It's the place that I enjoy being. But when there are hard days, it's oh, cool, I get to come back here and just
absolutely
touch a cat, interact with a cat. And
I relate to that so hard, and I love that you're having that same experience. Love the dogs. I'm still a dog person. I have dogs, but it's so much different going into the loud dog kennels and having all that noise pollution, and a dog excited and jumping on you. It's really overstimulating when you just need to chill and relax. But coming in sitting in the communal cat room and having a cat just curl up in your lap when you're stressed, the best thing.
And on the opposite end of the spectrum, how do you know if you're not ready for a cat?
I would say if you're really nervous about it and don't feel it's a hard question because I think you're always ready for a cat. It's really going to be a personal thing. You're going to get butterflies before you get a cat if you're nervous about it, and that doesn't mean that you're not ready. Honestly, if you're nervous, you're probably going to be a really good cat owner because you're thinking about everything.
So what's your favorite cat adoption story?
Yeah, I would say there was a family I worked with when I was at Bernalillo County Animal Care Services, and we had this cat whose owner had died. And she came in with a couple other cats, and she was an ear tip, and she was much less social than the other cats. And slowly they all got adopted, and she was just kind of left behind. And we had a volunteer who was in a wheelchair, and he would come and socialize with her, and she loved him. So we saw that, like, she could love people, and she could be social. And slowly, like, she started to come around to us as the employees, and she became this really lovely little girl. And then we had a family who had lost their cats come in, and they were an elderly couple, and they just wanted a cat to kind of fill that void. And they met with her, and she loved them in the environment and was very social, and they decided to adopt after much discussion. But in the acclimation to the home, she really regressed. She regressed back to that really shy, shut-down cat. They actually thought they lost her at one point. In their garage, and they were like, she's gone, she's not here. And then I got a frantic phone call, and then I got a video screenshot of her hanging in their hanging canoe in their garage, just sitting in the top of their canoe. So they found her, and they're like, okay, she's around, like, she's okay. But eventually, just giving her that time to decompress in the home, she became that lovely cat again. And I get updates of her all the time, and her name is Gabby, and they love her so much, and she just found a really, really good home. And it just really shows, like, sometimes cats are not going to be social right away. Like, they just need time, and giving them that time and space to decompress, and kind of letting our worry come aside so that we can allow them that space. Don't take it personally. It's not you. They don't hate you. They're just really struggling with that change. So giving them that space to come around, and you know, you can lose your cat and she can be in a canoe, but she can eventually come down and she'll be a good cat. It'll be okay. I think if you're considering a cat or considering a pet, you are ready to try. You know, some people worry that they're not going to be a good owner, or they're not going to provide that home that cat needs. And I think if you're worried about it, right, like, you're going to be a good owner because you're already thinking about all the things that the cat needs, and your worry that you're going to be a bad owner actually makes you a really good owner. I think everyone should have a cat if they want one. I think you should have a ferret if you want one, a dog if you want one. There's so many animals in so few homes. So if you're worried about it, just give it a try. You know, you're probably a way better owner than you think you are. And even when you're not, like, we're here to help, we're here to support. We can talk you down off a ledge if you're just like, what have I done? This cat is crazy, and we can give you suggestions to make it better. So give it a try. You're always ready.
Amazing. Well, as always, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Another huge thank you to Adrienne for coming onto the podcast once again to lend us her expertise. And thank you so much for listening to Mini Meow-Ments, an Animal Humane New Mexico podcast. Once again, June is National Adopt a Shelter Cat Month, so if you're feline, like opening your heart and home to homeless cats, meow is the time. If adoption is not in the cards, consider fostering, volunteering, and supporting your local animal shelter like Animal Humane. Details on how to get involved are on our website, animalhumanenm.org.